Good day, everyone. My name is Wallace H. Arombo, and I will be discussing about Chapter 4, Reliability, Sources of Error Variance. So, my topic outline is Sources of Error Variance, the test construction, test administration, test scoring, and interpretation, and other sources of errors. So, the intended learning outcomes is to classify and describe the different sources of error variance. So first and foremost, what is error variance? So error variance, it is a unrecognized sources of error variance in a large-scale assessment programs, factors that cause test scores to change over time for reasons that are unrelated to the knowledge or skills that the test aim to measure. So error variance is a variance from irrelevant, random sources because error variance may increase or decrease a test score by varying amounts, consistency of the test score, and thus reliability can be affected. So one source of error variance is first the test construction. So test construction is an item sampling or content sampling. It refers to a variation among items within a test, designed well as to a variation among items between tests. So it is the extent to which a test taker's score is affected by the content sampled in a test. And by the way, when we say content sampled, it is the way in which the item is constructed. So how a test sample or how the item is constructed can be a source of error variance because, for instance, you are taking a test and how a test is being constructed is different from the is different from the construction that you are used to, then it can be a source of error variance or your test score. Okay, so next is test administration. So test administration may influence the test taker's attention or motivation. Test takers' reactions to influences are the source of one of a kind error variance. Example, room temperature, level of lighting, and amount of ventilation and noise, for instance. So where you are going to take your test can affect your test scores. For instance, it is so hot or the ambience is not so good, then you feel you are having a headache. So your test score will be affected. So and another one is the test administration. Another one is the practitioner, the proctor in conducting the test. So for instance, his his niece or somewhat relative, then when you pose a questions, then he may or she may unwittingly provide clues by emphasizing keywords. So in that way, it already shows how it can be a source of error variance. And it might convey information about a response through head nodding, eye movements, or other nonverbal gestures. So test administration not only include who administrate the test, but it also includes the environment where you are going to take your test. Okay, so next is test scoring and interpretation. So test scoring and interpretation is not literally can affect sources of variance, but it will be your test score will be affected, or it can be considered a source of error variance if the one who are scoring and interpreting your score involves subjectivity. So when we say subjectivity, it is your own personal opinion or your own personal perspective. So in test scoring and interpretation, it should only involve objectivity but not subjectivity, because if you involve your subjectivity, then it can be a source of error variance. So and then we will going to proceed to other sources of errors. So, I included surveys and polls as sources of error variance since it is rampant in our base nowadays. Okay, so scorers and scoring system are potential sources of error variance. A test may employ objective type items amendable to computer scoring of well-documented reliability. Yet, even then, a technical glitch might contaminate the data if subjectivity is involved in scoring. Then the scorer or leader can be a source of error variance. Okay, so diba, for surveys and polls are usually conducted in a system. So if someone in that area who are responsible for conducting the polls or the surveys has her or his own personal bias, then he can immediately apply it to his yung ginagawa, which can affect the result of the surveys of the polls. Diba? Because he can manipulate the polls since he is the one who is controlling the system. Okay? So that is all about my topic. So the reference of my topic is the book that was provided by Mom Christine. Thank you.